original dungeon, I should say. Good.
Thank you.
Slowly by the
Wow.
wall. Slowly, slowly by the wall.
Did they get a chance to do it? They had to go slide down, roll down anyway, right?
Yeah, once they were shackled against each other or one another, obviously somewhere fell down the road.
Wow.
Slowly, slowly, slowly.
Wow.
Let's go to the next side. Please go ahead, very close to the walls, because we're going to observe the silence here in memory of the departed souls.
This is the male slave dungeon.
Are we close to the walls? Please face the wall, touch any part of the wall. We're going to communicate
Look at this.
within a minute. Just say something to our ancestors, direct ancestors, or those with the freedom fighters that we can mention. Malcolm X, and the rest, one in home. Here we go. This was the situation.
This is how dark it was.
Such was the situation. There was no electricity in the world, and they had to be in these conditions. The three windows up there provided them light, ventilation on the environment. Sat close to each other on small mats on the floor, or laid down whenever they had less than 100 or 50 people in the house. And it was indeed very tough moment at the time. As a result, some contracted diseases. Medically, they would give you medication. Unfortunately for you, they were pronounced dead, body carried and straight to the Atlantic Ocean. So some died in the dungeons, on the high seas, at the time of capture, transporting them from the interior to the coastal area, and then also at the destination. And for the departed souls in any of these dimensions, we say, may they rest in peace and rise in glory. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Thank you very much. So that was it. Number one, drink through the trench.
They had to drink? What did you say?
No, trench. Number one.
Oh, okay, number one. Oui. Okay, thank you.
Number two, at the bottom of the wall, and stay with it overnight. So sometimes you'll be here doing it, and your brother sat by you watching helpless. And you don't want to see it. How about somebody else's?
If you have the energy, the power.
Every day the dungeons were cleaned by the domestic enslaved Africans. We talked about the commercial ones were confined in the dungeons awaiting shipment to the various destinations. Those that they used to construct the facility, they call them the local or the domestic enslaved Africans. And after 1833, that the slave trade officially declared over in British West Africa, there were no locals around, the poo and other stuff. So those things were left behind, unattended to, and that are created to the site. From the bottom to the side, the trench here, according to account or record, indicated that all this area was covered to this height, with number two, about 70% of the composition. How did it come about? Almost half a century ago, in 1974, a team of archaeologists from the University of Ghana, They came here for academic research work. Your Excellencies, when they came, they said, yeah, they could see bent bricks floor, but at the fringes, different materials were all together, so there was a need to probe further. Then they began digging left, right, center. They came across buried shadows right from here. They retrieved it, and then we had them in the main museum gallery. Unfortunately, because of the COVID issue, the main gallery is still not open to public. And then we scooped part of the debris to the lab for tests. And guess what? The debris composed of throw up, wee, tears, sweat, blood, a chunk of it, number 2. So after their work, that they put these markings at the bottom of the wall to educate people to the castle. That was what they discovered. So you can imagine at the time, how many will survive? What you can endure for weeks, somebody few days, he or she will die. And they knew very well that not everybody would believe their story. So to prove to you beyond reasonable doubt, you see this coded area. Now, Nanaya, what is the difference between this surface and this portion? Is there any difference at all?
That one looks raised.
That is raised, good. And I can tell you for sure, 10 years ago when I was here, it was higher than what you are saying. And you know what? As I conduct people around, I will be walking on it, stepping on it. The followers will do the same. So gradually we were scraping it. So 2 years ago, myself and my boss, current boss, we decided to do something better. So that our children, grandchildren, when they come here 30, 40 years down the line, when they come, they can also see it. So we decided to code it for preservation, conservation method. It's the reason why we have it. But all this area were bricks. And you see that this side is also raised. You see it? That's what I'm calling.
We saw some like rodents. They had to deal with that too, didn't
Rodents,
they?
rats.
Rats and stuff coming.
No. Be very difficult to get it. The rats cannot be here.
It's high.
It's too high. They can't climb there. So outside is very smooth, so smooth.
But probably on the ships, probably.
Then how would they get in? Maybe when the ship dock, then they can move in that regard. Our ancestors went through something else.
Yeah.
And we are the proud descendants of those who survived.
So can you repeat that? So why is that area raised?
This area is raised, an indication that part almost at the fringes of the wall, the diamond, similar materials they found.
Okay.
So after the archaeological work, they decided to leave this portion behind
Okay.
to prove to those who would doubt their account that whatever they saw there indeed was composition of poo-poo, we threw up tears and the rest. Is the reason why they left this portion behind. And I added that it was even higher than what we are seeing now, 10 years ago. But as hundreds of people coming to the dungeon, were all stepping on it, gradually we were reading it.
Yeah.
So if we don't conserve it now, 30, 40 years down the line, our children, grandchildren, when they come, they wouldn't see it.
Okay.
It's the reason why we coded it.
Okay.
Hello, my brother.
So basically, it's like where we are standing used to be like this.
Okay.
Where we are standing.
And they just changed it.
Good.
But they left this one. Is it?
Yeah.
The team that undertook the research work grouped themselves into two. We are now about 9 or 10 here. So one group chose alphabets, another group chose Roman numerals. So we are told it's the same purpose. Yeah. One group, maybe group A, chose that side, and then group B, alphabets. This room measures 32 by 16 feet. And guess what? 150 to 200 human beings were confined here. The figures sound alarming. It was so simple to do. Please, let's get close to the wall. Mosabi, you stay there, do the count of us. Join in, join. My brother, join. Daddy, join. Good. My brother, do the count for how many are we now?
You are it.
We are 8. So at least 4 can get there and additional 6 or something. So it was possible that they had 20 by 8 or 7. And then if we were to sit like this, another batch will sit in front of us. Another batch, another batch, another batch. So 20 by 8 is over 150.
My God.
That's why they were able to keep such a number here.
And how long they stay?
They stay in the dungeons for 2 weeks, minimum 6 weeks, average 12 weeks maximum. 2, 6, 12 weeks respectively. And let me add this, not all enslaved Africans were held in the dungeons before they shipped them. No. There were some who arrived here at the time fleet of ships were available to take off. So let's say a ship with a capacity of 300. As of the time we arrived, we are less than 20. Only 250 had boarded the ship. There was no need keeping us here, having arrived, while the ship is not yet full. So right after branding at the courtyard, straight away to door of no return. So in that case, such people did not see the male dungeon at all. What the situation. But again, the flip side, we just arrived. He said, few hours ago the ship took off. What do? We have to wait. 2 weeks, 6 weeks, or 12 weeks. That was it. But majority, as always, were always held in the dungeons before they shipped them.
It was never empty.
Yeah, it was never empty. And the ship will not move with less than 150 people on board. It will be a cost to the company. Always it should be 150 and above. That was why they were able to keep 150, 150 in 5 sessions. That made up the male dining. So 150 or more by 5. Then even as we are saying that between 700 and 1,000 feet were confined in the male dining. And one thing was for sure, the dungeons were not meant for you to lie down. No, please, no. You were to sit. You only lie down when there was enough space ahead of you or in front of you. Because keeping 100 or more people here, you lying down. If I want to do the baby in the evening, I'll trample upon you. It was so easy. So we are here to celebrate our ancestors. We are here not as tourists, you know. The tourists are the vacations. Let us move to the 10th chamber. The 3rd chamber, you see this.
Amen.
2 windows here, this maybe 3. But for your information, this was a spy room, a security point where an officer was commissioned to stand and monitor activities of the commercial countries and give out periodic reports, whether some were fighting, some needed medical attention, or anything else. And on top of this 3rd chamber was the church. The name of the church at the time was Society for the Propagation of the Gospel, SPG, which later metamorphosed to Anglican Church. And Methodist Church of Ghana started at where we have the 4 graves. Roman Catholic Church of Ghana, the dungeon in Elmina. Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the dungeon in Accra. So Christianity in Ghana, why did they start? From the same dungeon. The one who introduced us the Bible were the same people.
Yeah, that was gold.
Was it the case that heaven and earth, or praise God and then suppress people down? Unbelievable. But that is the reality. May God forgive us our transgressions. Because if you should follow those stories, you end up not going to church, not even believing in the word of God. But somebody created us. Let us move to the last portion.
Only 2 windows here.
Okay. Before we get there, let me add this. You see these iron bars? There's a reason to it. Our brothers and sisters mostly captured from the interior north. You know our main challenge? That
Small place.
major challenge was that they had done, we had grown, and we couldn't afford those people. So they were able to come as tamers. Secondly, Ghanaians, Gold Coasters, we were too hospitable to the Europeans. Have we found ourselves why other African countries they treat the US as now? Nigeria to go anywhere it started. It ended way before ours. Ghanaians are always accommodating. The hospitality that my brother is exhibiting to you. It's not him, he hasn't done anything new. No. By nature, that's how we were brought up. Be nice to people you know and those you don't know, since you can't tell what will happen tomorrow. So when Portuguese arrived on Falah, when he named the village Mansa as a mine which means the mine, we made a request. You know, we didn't understand their language in the first place. So we used the body language of gesture. They said we needed a place to lay their head. The chief of the mayor at the time, Pam confirmed with the elders that this is what we seem to say. So what do you do? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Gave them the land free. Help them build the dungeon. Did you know that we end up in the dungeon as slaves? That's it. So it is not true. Sometimes the orientation over there, sometimes they present the message over there as if the moment we saw the Portuguese, then we started selling the human beings. How? That is not true. We didn't understand their language. And Penacala were even shy of. Did you know why they introduced education to us? By 1529, Portuguese had established a school there. To train you so you become the intermediary, mediator, do the translation for them and then the local people. That was the main reason why they introduced education. But people sold you, your people sold you. That's the message there. If later the influence of leaders, especially the chiefs at the time, supplied them the ammunition to engage more of the tribal ones, fine, that one we agreed. But just to make it simplistic down, your people sold you. No, please, sorry, it is not true. But who said pioneering 70 types of slavery were not in existence? We were practicing all these things. For instance, if you own another, let's say $100, and as I speak to you now, she's demanding the money and you don't have it. Thanks be to God, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Just nominate to one of us to work for Madam Nanaya 6 months or 1 year to defray the debt. Within that period, that your daughter or your son, you don't own him or her again until 6 months or 1 year was over. And if that boy or girl put up a very good behavior in Nanaya's family, why Nanaya can say, I want you to marry my son or my daughter. So she then or he then becomes part of your family. We were practicing this.
We know, but I don't know if you all watch the American films but they're trying to create a new narrative, and that is the narrative that you all basically gave us over knowing what was going on.
That's so unfortunate. That's what we know. That is orientation.
Yes, and they keep, and the best way that they do it is that they, I don't know if you pay attention to our movies and stuff. They bring in these movies with these subliminal messages and narratives that support what their agenda, which is trying to again divide us. They see that we've started to come together, the diaspora, and now they're trying to. Cinema is what they've always used for their lies and half truths, and it's been working. So I mean, yeah. So now there's a new narrative that you all did that. The other one is that we weren't enslaved. Yeah. So between the two,
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that was your choice.
First it was keeping us divided out there, now more people have been, more of us have been coming back home. Now they're like, well, these are the people who did it too, so it's just always a way to keep themselves and hold themselves accountable for what they did.
And to keep us separate. So
Separated,
that
that's
we
it.
don't divide.
They will never admit their involvement. Never. They will never admit that. That they were the orchestrators.
Because
of
it's
all
not
these
the,
things.
and we know, because it's not the nature of us. That is why we're drawn to each other across the globe, because our true nature is actually what they took advantage of, like you said. We're very welcoming, we're very caring and open people, and we bring you in with love, and then you take advantage of that, you know. But you all were, so Ghana would be more like Martin Luther King, and Nigeria was like, yeah, we're gonna be the Malcolm X of it, so they kind of were like, we're gonna be more aggressive with the resistance, whereas you all continue to, you know, wish for the best, you know, when in actuality, their nature is
It wasn't their
lies
intention.
and deceit and all
Deception, yeah. You see, if
by nature.
if they gave you room, if you are at par, they knew that with a little effort you overcome them.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't give you the opportunity to come at par with them. So they always try to suppress you down.
Yeah.
If you're not lucky, they even poison you.
Absolutely. And I think because the kids, what is important, because even with my kids, they're like, but there's so many, why there were so many of us, why couldn't we overthrow them? But they had the guns, so the guns were powerful. Whereas, like you said, with the arrows, if you understood the time, you would understand why. And then, of course, you would then bow down.
And it wasn't machine guns neither. It wasn't just like you powder.
Yeah, but it was still, it was more powerful than the
Yeah.
arrow and the physical strength. Because if it was one-on-one boxing, we would have been all right.
Yeah.
But move to the last part and see the distinction between this. Careful.
Sorry.
I will.
Amen.
All right. My second question, please. What is the difference between this surface? The emphasis is on the floor. This surface and the first room.
Everything came down here.
Smoother, and those who were here will face the most difficult aspect of their life because they had to contend with their own waste as well as the one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it all came down here.
The top layer here is a composition of aforementioned materials. And then all the dungeons were bricks. Like this.
No matter how much is there.
When my brother is standing, you see, this portion is also scooped all over. That's it. So after the archaeological work,
Because look at
they
it, it's
added
coming down.
laterite to those materials and then spread them in the remaining 4 sections, leaving the first room bare, indicating that all the floor of the dungeons were made of bent bricks. And those held in the first section, they said they were the most aggressive type. So more often, they shackled both arms and the legs. If you are middle aggressive type, one arm shackled against another. If you are not aggressive at all, no change. Because already the shackles were not enough. So your behavior will determine how they will use it.
They
And that-
still do it today in the U.S. I don't know if you
And that did not
our
deter
prisons-
some of them. Some were always on their necks, hitting them in the face with the shackles, strangling their neck, and selected them to the condemnation cell. So the likes of Martin Luther King, Garvey, Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela and the rest, if Patrice Lumumba, if they were, they would have held them in the condemned center later. We shall see. Read in memory of the departed souls presented by us, corporate bodies, individuals, diasporas. And here we have African traditional temple. It forms part of our heritage, our culture, the way and manner in which some of us, we pray, we worship our Maker, before some of us later embrace Islamic faith during the trans-Sahara trade, and then the Europeans also come in with the Christian faith. The Arabs were attracted to old Ghana Empire because of what Mansa Musa did. So when Mansa Musa was leaving for Mecca, carried a lot of gold ornaments on him. And the old Ghana Empire is today's part of northwest of Burkina Faso, Guinea, Conakry, Senegal, Gambia. That was where our ancestors were, very rich of gold and military intelligence. It was through migration that moved us to where we are now. So the name Ghana is obtained from the old Ghana Empire. From this angle, all the way to this side, marked the beginning of the very huge underground tunnel that all of us were on it taking pictures already. When we came, we went to the tunnel where we have the cannons. So there's a passage behind this wall. At the time our ancestors were here, there was no altar this way. And therefore an open space where you will have to bend down and walk through, go straight away like this, to join the women at door of no return. It was around 1834, a year after slave trade finally ended in British West Africa. Instead of 1807 when they first proclaimed, you and I know it didn't stop. It continued on and on. Later, civil rights individual groups like Wilberforce, Thomas Clarkson, Gavin Sharp, Lord Mansfield, the Chief Justice of England, all kicked against it. And then white paper came out from the office of the monarch. And this is we have finally stopped the slave trade. So officer in charge of the castle ordered the closure of the tunnel. Reasons we can't see from here, but don't you worry. We'll get to the appropriate angle. I will give you the opportunity to see how we can this. And this also as part of first demonstration, the year of return. These are the two newest. That's yesterday. So groups, individuals, present them to say ashamed to their ancestors. We're going out, we'll talk briefly about the tombs and then we'll see the time of the appropriate time.
Okay.
Grandma.
Hello.
I'm just a visitor.
Okay.
Where are you from? I'm from Jamaica.
Oh.
Kingston. Graves present an isolated African, 3 Europeans that side. So even in death, you see the segregation. The African by name Philip Kweku, first Ghanaian African to have been ordained into priesthood in the Anglican Communion around 17th of May 1765. His father, a slave merchant at the time, would it buy and sell of captives to the English merchant. And perhaps by virtue of his father's role here, one reverend minister from the church by name Thomas Thompson conferred with the merchant that he, Thomas Thompson, was the sole pastor in the church. So when the time may come, he, Thomas Thompson, may not be available. He'll be traveling or maybe ill health. So there was a need to train some locals. In case he wasn't there, those locals would take over from him. So Thomas William joined Philip to study abroad. 4 years in England, The latter two died or passed on. And he, Philip the former, survived, attended the school at Oxford where he studied theology and education. So after ordination at St. James Anglican Cathedral in England, he came back to continue with the evangelism drive. Dear brothers and sisters, guess what? When he arrived, so at the time he was somewhere 11 years old when they took him there. So after 10 years he came back, almost 23, 24 thereabouts. He questioned the officers that, officers, you're asking me to preach the word of God to you here, whilst holding my brothers down there. That's too difficult for me to handle. You are an ingrate.
Let's put it in nicely.
From whose spouse did he get education? Today, you are telling us we are committing evil. What did you know in the Bible that we, the merchant here, didn't know? That you are the one to tell us good from bad. So there was always controversy, cold war between him and officers. Today, transfer here, the next day. Later, they decided not to pay him at all.
Good.
So he died here in 1875 with a salary arrears of £369.10, yet to be paid. 207 years ago. Do the calculation yourself. 369 pounds sterling. Salary arrears.
Checks in the mail.
The challenge, another challenge he had was that when he came back, because the 2 pounds, he couldn't keep the lingua franca because there was nobody there to use the local language with. So everything became English. So when he came back to go to his own people and do the evangelism was also another problem. Which language?
Speak the language.
So his own people also saw him as a traitor.
Outside.
Ideally, when he died, he ought to have been buried on the family's land. But more or less, the family said, you were here with us, you went to India, you came back, you can't use our land with them, you have no use to us. Reasons later, the English buried him. 17th of October, 1860. The top among the three was a man, a military, a lawyer by profession, C.B. Whitehead. He also was shot dead at the time Indians were fighting on our land. But the English said no, they believe malaria killed their son. Remember, the Dutch were here before English came. The English took over this land. That battle coincided with the Anglo-Dutch War, 1660-64. When they were fighting here, the two were fighting in New Amsterdam, now New York. So 2-0. When my brother was bringing you to Cape Coast, did they see for Amsterdam?
Yeah.
That fort you saw is 27 years older than this. And it was built by the English. Fort Amsterdam is 27 years older than this. Something English built, my brother, why do you call it Amsterdam? Because we are told many things Amsterdam has a connection with the Dutch. So the Dutch are telling us that if they are New Amsterdam, it's now your New York, then your Fort York will also be called Fort Amsterdam. In other words, the original name of the fort was York. I hope today English Dutch are friends. Those days, they never crossed carpet at all. The only place English Dutch never fought on the soil of Ghana was Elmina. When the Dutch said they were no longer interested in the coast, so they were leaving for northern Sumatra or Indonesia. And in English, Indonesia said, okay, they want to concentrate in Gold Coast. So it was a swamp. We have a community called Commander, about 25.
That's how they do it. That's how families fight. That's how their families fight.
There's a community about 25 kilometers away from the called Commander. We have Dutch Commander, British Commander. What separated them was a river. My own land, you from nowhere, you came and then divided our forts. So one group of the community had an ally to the English or the Dutch, and the other one, another way to break our fronts. Let's get close to the last two and see now.
Nice meeting you. Have a good one.
So Philip, C.B. Whitehead, these were a couple. Captain George McLean, the one who ensured that the tunnel was sealed up. We're going to see any moment from now. President of London Merchants, went ahead and established the first court of justice, the judicial system in the country today. Credit given to him to have initiated it. And after he established it, later we shall pass by. After 70 years in the castle, he died of malaria attack, age 46. When he was on duty, the wife, Letitia Elizabeth London, came to say, hello, my dear husband, I've missed you. Only to see that McLean had another woman to his side, by name Ellen Bannerman. Letitia was said to have felt jealous and therefore committed suicide 2 months upon arrival. The second group said Ellen McLean could not enter the house to poison her so they can continue with their romance. And then the last group also came with a verdict that one or yellow fever or malaria, since it was common at the time. Remember, at the point in time, the same Europeans named the West Coast of Africa as the white man's graveyard. It's when they come, they don't live longer. 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, both dead. Now, tell me which of the continents in the world you won't find this king.
Well, nowhere. There's nowhere you
Nowhere.
can find it.
I know a black person that lives in Alaska.
Everywhere, so uniquely bizarre.
Even the black Chinese. There's black music. In the islands, there's black
Everywhere.
Chinese. Yeah, we're everywhere. We're black Irish, black Japanese, black everywhere.
The Mother Earth itself is black.
Yep.
Yes. So Philip owed 875, Sidney Whitehead, John Shaw 38, George McLean malaria 46, Letitia Elizabeth in London 36 years. She died of yellow fever, malaria, suicide, poison, jealousy. Those were the reasons given.
Jealousy.
All of them.
All mixed together.
All mixed. Anyone you chose is correct. Let's see the river.
Anyone you chose is correct.
Yeah. Not sure that I've died of any of them. Yeah, production. So they give them some water to drink. Oh. Okay, then while they are out there, let's get to the shorter one. This is too high.
Okay.
My brother, let's do that. We are out there. Yeah, we are pumping water in now for restoration work and then also the use of the wash. Somebody is calling.
He said somebody is calling.
What was the initial use for these?
Reservoir.
Reservoir.
They harvested rainwater from the roof to prepare food and drink for them in the morning and the evening. So the women will be here, men this way, fed on energy-giving food. Now, as I said, we're pumping water in for the use of the washroom and restoration work. Your Excellency, guess what? When our ancestors were here eating, only the genital covered. So, open. Officers stood on the outskirts, choose and select. If you were chosen, straight to the shore. Wash off your fur, the bath, and move the outskirts will later get there and rape you. After the rape, back to the dungeons. Up there, if you resisted rape, of course, for the first time, it will not be easy for you to get it. So, you elbow the man, he says, you are stubborn. And there are the punishments where you be confined. This episode continues when you get to the punishment cell. I don't want the sun to scorch you anymore. Let's see the tunnel first. And the punishment. So they were moving on and on and on and on from where we saw the shrine. one after the other. You do this, and then you come. Just stretch it. You can take a picture. One step ahead. This is a tunnel from the shrine. I said it blocked off to signify the end of the slave trade.
So this was part of where they would come from the dungeon and come up from here.
They came out that side to join the women at door of no return. So this area was for ventilation and security.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say they put spies here.
That's why that's it. To command them.
Oh, that's
move
what you're
them,
saying.
move.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at
Have
it.
it on video.
Yeah. One step ahead. One step ahead. Good. Is it deep? It is.
It's very deep.
The tunnel from the male dungeon. That
Water now or empty?
No, it's empty. Go ahead.
is empty.
That's where
Okay.
we were, right?
Yeah, precisely.
We were down in there. That's where they used to.
Where we have the traditional temple.
That's where he said they would spy on us when we were down in the thing. Oh, can you get a picture for her?
Okay.
Very
So
deep.
if 8 of us were dispatched there, the gentleman standing here should get 8. If he recorded 6, meaning 2 missing, and that was the only time they would apply leather, go down, look for the 2. If one was in critical condition, they give him medication. The other one was confirmed dead by the medical team, body carried
To the ocean.
to the ocean. Now let's see the end of the tunnel. One deep step down on even surface. Good, that's right.
So this is the part that's blocked off right here.
We shall see. Good.
Look at
Good.
this.
One deep surface. Yeah.
Look at that.
Ago.
Amen.
End of the tunnel.
That's why the different surface. Okay.
It's not red, yep.
Blocked to tell the whole world that the English had stopped the transatlantic slave trade. This wasn't the female dungeon. In fact, we are very close to the area. Our mothers came out from their end, joined our fathers here. This therefore became the initial door of no return, exit, to canoes, to the bigger ships, off to the various destinations, i.e. Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Haiti, Guyana, Bahamas, North, South Carolinas, Virginia, and the rest, just to mention but a few. Brazil received the largest number in terms of population as a nation. It's the reason they are number 1 producer of sugar. Purely sugarcane plantation. The rest of the Americas are the Caribbean for cotton plantation and the mining as well. Remember, our own ancestors were they used to construct the underground tunnel from the UK to France or so thereabouts. And today, the same people calling us lazy. Later, they closed the site on the account that any time the seawater was very rough, sometimes the tidal waves capsized canoes, already in shackles. How could you swim?
You can't.
So by the time the rescue team came to your aid, don't be dying here. They needed you alive over there for the hard work. So they quickly closed the side, and our fathers came out this way, joining our mothers. But the famous door of no return.
Thank you. Thank you.
Famous door of no return. We are very near there. Sister, yeah, this was a punishment cell where if Queen Ya Amma Abena said no to rape, she was confined or incarcerated. One or two people here, gate locked, see this iron bar, right? Food very little in and out this way. Because they didn't do alive on their bed, they will feed you. But the meal counterpart, they didn't give them food. And you felt comfort in this area as compared to the dungeons. And the man on the upstairs was on here to have you on his bed to ready. And you were here roughing. Then they quickly send you the junior soldier to come and pull him out of the cell. Force him to carry one of those black box, 20 to 30 kilograms. For how long will you hold the ball, my brother? He eventually dropped the ball, agreed to disagree. So under duress, okay, you do it. After the rape, back to the dungeons. It was only when, for a reason or two, they became their personal concubines, stayed in the dungeons or outside the dungeons where they washed and cooked for them. With time, some of them conceived and then gave birth to little African children. So your Queen Abena, Queen Ya, Queen Amma, Queen Kweku, King Kofi, and the rest, those names, they will rubbish them and call you Vanessa Bruce, Michelle Bramwell, Robert Van Dyke, Vanderpoy, Mattels, Woodrow Smith, Bannerman. And then if they baptize you to Christian faith, Naomi, Esther, Rebecca, Rahel, Deborah, Paul, Peter, John, Joseph, Mark, Benjamin. So your Kofi, your Kwame, your Amma, your Ya, your AC, those names are, you lose your identity. Another way to break our front. So you knew her as Amma. You were trying to call Amma. Say, no, I'm not Amma. My master says I should be called Vanessa. You were Amma, no, Amma. I'm Vanessa. You're also calling a queer. She says she is Margaret. I'm not a queer, I'm Margaret. So, two sisters, this time around, they don't know each other. So with this in place, how can you team up to fight him? You can't. So another way to break our front. Let's see the female. One step down.
Watch your step over here.
Okay, as we did in the middle dungeon, let us observe the silence for the shields. Those who have made us proud. Remember, those who died in any of the dimensions lost their generations. But we are here because, in our case, they defied all the challenges, survived the journey, and gave birth to us. So we are here on a pilgrimage, not as tourists, to see what our ancestors went through. I mean, once again, may the souls of all the faithful departed i.e. Harriet Tubman, Maya Sedina Truth, Nanaya Santua, and many others will perish in these dungeons, other dungeons across Africa. May they rest in peace and rise in glory. Ashe.
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 Ashe. So we now think 150 or more of our mothers were here, similar number opposite us. The trench. This, like the rail line, that was what they usually used to pull the cannons upwards. Those cannons not for beautification but for defense. In other words, the cannons were telling other European competitors that, hey, we the English are in control of this dungeon. Don't come near us. If you do, we'll bomb you. So 500 meters from the short cannons, 1,000 meters from the bigger ones. And that's why this passed to have them there before this area became so when they close this side, they constructed another one. Good observation. So what we take there, unfortunately, throughout the period that they stayed in the dungeons, the male, the female, no shower. So problems compounded. Come to think of it, the mandatory 28-day cycle, it will come. How do you handle it? How do you handle it? Until such a time, the concubine of the governor pleaded on your behalf, and the woman and all my sisters were going to, can we move them to the shore, wash off the ground? Fine. Sensitive governor will tell you that. Make sure nobody escapes. But the sensitive one will say, no, I don't want anybody at all to escape. You got to deal with it. Why did some die? Why? So we need to celebrate, adore, appreciate.
Stand here. You can feel the air.
I feel it. Let's see the famous phrase, the door for it. The famous phrase, get closer, an area we lost contact. The ancestors here, food, language, almost everything. The gate has since been changed. The original exit, very narrow, too small. So you will have to bend down to the various destinations early on mentioned. Per the pattern of the trade, Europe, Africa, America, Caribbeans, community, and then back to Europe. So Holland, England, Gold Coast, Ghana, Dutch, West Indies, or English, sold them a profit back to Europe. So it was like a triangle. Therefore, they call it triangular slave trade. Remember, the exit, very narrow. That was across all the 14 castles to check their movements. Let's see outside. We had already returned.
So they would have, so the water would come up to here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Please, let's stand on the step on the original stairs. That's it. These original steps. Until 2 years, 4 months ago, the seawater was right here.
Wow.
Right here. These breakwaters 28 months ago. And you can see the excavators parked that side. Tomorrow Monday they will continue their work. Even with this height, you see the water still overflows. You can imagine from the initial door of no return. If this height, the water can still overflow, how much more this can do? It will capsize it down.
So where was the old door of no return, you said?
Initial one, it is connected to where we have
there,
the sea defense.
in the cut over there,
Yes,
okay.
the way the sea is behaving is the reason why they closed it and created a new exit this way.
Okay.
Because some canoes were
Lopsided.
Yeah, that's it. And fishing village, Tuesdays, fishermen along the coast of Ghana. No fishing, traditional statutory holiday. Do you go to work on Sundays? So the very day you don't go to work is your holiday. Our official folks is Tuesday. My village is Thursday. Elsewhere, Friday or Saturday or Friday. And all these things were insisted by our ancestors. They said pick one day off and do this.
So up to 2 years ago, the water came here?
Right here.
Wow.
Right here. So original stairs to canoe, that moved them to the bigger ships.
Okay.
But you know, climate change, the rise in sea level, destroying most of the coastal areas. So funding was raised, and then we are constructing sea defense.
Okay.
Let me get a group picture here with you. We have the dog.
It's a big goat right there. Big goat. Hi, pretty goat. Bye, Billy Goat. Big goat.
Our ancestors sacrificed for us to become who we are today. First ever Emancipation Day festival here. 2 skeletons of African descent were brought from Jamaica and New York to represent the millions of people that were enslaved throughout Africa. Remember, Goree Island, Senegal, Mozambique, Equatorial Guinea, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Cameroon, Nigeria, all those places, they had human resource base there, but Gold Coast was the center of the trade. And so it is not surprising at all that out of the 66 forts and castles in West Africa, Ghana alone accounted for 42, 3 castles, 39 forts. Because Swedish came, they wanted a place to lay their head. Danes did, the French, the Dutch. So lodges to forts and then to castles. Madam Crystal, an astute lawyer, human rights activist in Kingston, Jamaica. Samuel Carson, on the other hand, was a naval officer from New York, USA. Both died some years ago. And then they made contact with the family members, because after DNA tests, it revealed that their ancestors were taken from Gold Coast. So they exhumed the skeletons, flown them from New York to Accra. Accra by road to where you saw Fort Amsterdam. And then from Fort Amsterdam, they came by the ocean in 2 separate canoes. Right at this spot, the casket of Crystal Cousin laid, traditional prayers, rituals done on them, and then usher them in back to their roots to represent us all, saying that yes, our ancestors didn't come back in persons, but 3 generations. We have returned.
You can't stop us.
Can't stop us.
It's the reason we change the narrative of no return to return. So more so we celebrate Pana Fest, Emancipation Day Festival, Year of Return, Beyond Return, December in Ghana. Let's go in to the condemnation cell. Hopefully we continue. My question, wait. If you should go back to Jamaica, US tomorrow, at the airport or in front of your house, your son, your daughter, your husband, or relative of yours met you, what phrase or word, statement would you expect to hear first from that relative of yours upon seeing you?
Go get Roman.
Thank you. That is it. Were you at sea? Thank you. So this is it. Welcome home, Aquaba. It is a response to door of return. And it's an Akan language. Akan. Those who speak the most commonest languages in the country. We belong to the Akan community. So Aquaba is for all of us. If you go back home at the airport in front of your house, expect this from any of your relatives. Anything short of this, don't answer the person. Hi, how was your talk? Did you enjoy? No answer. They should welcome you first, give you water to drink, say, and then they will have the audacity to interrogate your experiences in Africa. Keep this word in mind. Anything short of this, don't answer the person.
Okay.
You should expect the person to say this. Welcome back home or Aquaba.
Okay.
time in Ghana or Africa?
Yes.
Hey, wow.
And hopefully not my last.
No, sure. Never be alone.
Yes. He's like the little brother that I want to stuff a lizard in his
This
mouth.
area was for the male counterparts.
Male counterparts.
The freedom fighters, the Patrice Lumumbas, the Kwame Nkrumahs, Nelson Mandela's, David Luther King Jr. and the rest.
Marcus Garvey.
Garvey, yes, who always ensure that justice was done. So they don't care, lay their lives down before the masses.
That's right.
They don't care killing them. So among some of our ancestors who were always on the neck of the officers, used the shackles to hit the face, strangle the neck in an attempt to kill them, were executed this way. No food, water, light, air until they dropped to death.
Okay.
So the distinction between this area and the dungeon was that dungeon you had access to food, water, light, no matter how small it may be. Over here, zero. Let us witness.
I remember our conversation about a man and what he would do for his.
Means necessary. Condemn. Watch your head. Stay down. This is probably where the officers stood.
He said that all of the freedom fighters, they knew they would be sent in here.
Yeah.
And but they would still fight, and whatever they knew, they would come in here. And then this was it. That once they got in here, they would never come out.
It's all right. That's okay.
Wow.
Wow. So this race wasn't there on the lights, no. Because there was a gate here, you can see removed. Middle removed. And this is this. Dehydration, suffocation, killed all.
Quick.
No ventilation,
No English.
no light.
So they called it condemned cell. And let me give you the light so you see the original scratches on the wall made by our ancestors.
Like on Black Panther, he said, throw me out
See
the
the
sea with
rough
my
surfaces at the
ancestors.
bottom? This rough surfaces, that come this way. You see the rough surfaces?
Yes.
Good. They were made by our ancestors. This area is supposed to be smooth as this. They get it. But in anguish, in pain, shackles on them. Gone. If you were trapped in your own room, how will you behave?
Radically.
The way you behave is what they did. You go crazy. And exactly what they did.
What is this up here? Somebody?
This was later years by some student body. We call it graffiti in tourism. I was here some, and then they put their names there.
Disrespectful.
This recent. Because of what we explained to them about this, that haven't done by our ancestors. we also-
Disrespectful.
But
Look at that.
This is original from our ancestors. How do you survive this?
You don't.
They could have shot you dead, boom, Kofi, but they said no.
Come back
And
again.
they want
That's all
her.
right.
They use this to serve as a lesson or deterrent to other colleagues.
That's
So
right.
don't fight officer. That was the only message.
This is a door of no return.
It's supposed to be a boss. Keep your head low 3 times. Don't carry the castle on one leg.
Had to be some white, let me shut up, some certain people that did that mess up there. Disrespectful.
Head low 3 times. Daddy will forward it to you all.
I didn't hit my head.
You did?
I didn't.
Uh-huh.
Usually I do. I didn't hit it.
Now, what up, bro? Sister, watch your head.
That is a door of no return right
That
there.
should be a door of no
A return. Like literally. Yeah, I know, but I'm more metaphorically I'm saying that should be a door of no return.
Okay, a few minutes to go. Let's see that of the bourgeois residence. The governor's residence, the King Kongs.
He said the King Kongs. Okay, stairs. All right. Yep. Cardio. Whew. Okay.
So, yeah. Ah, Tony, why? No, what's what we're about?
One, two. My mother would not be able to do this. She'd be sitting down there with the Jamaican grandmother. Seriously. I need to be by that door for air. This is the governor's residence. Wow. He's taking his time. Oh, okay. That's Ron.
Ron, let me give you back your phone. I hear you.
I love how he called him Dad. Oh, yeah. I'm going to stand right here. Yeah.
So let's see the bedroom this way. We have been 7 minutes to wrap up.
Ooh, watch out. He wasn't looking. He really wasn't. But look at that ocean. Wow.
Sister, up on the hill is the lighthouse. For the William, built to enhance the security of those dungeons. Similar thing the Dutch used to bombard the Portuguese in Elmina. So English were mindful of what the Dutch could do. And remember, Elmina dungeon is about 182 years older than this. Please, you look afar, straight in the horizon. There's a land like an island in the sea. At the tip end, part of it is the Elmina dungeon. Portuguese. Now, sister, come this way. Look through the little window to find the Fort William upstairs. So, lookout point. The beauty is to be here, you've seen it. So, you get messages from them up there with flags and lights. You signal, you get a message to inform those soldiers in the garrison. And all the cannons will be full of soldiers.
Get to your station.
Go ahead and enjoy the breeze. Go ahead and enjoy the breeze. You move this way to the communication room.
Governor's bedroom and hall. More stairs. Go ahead. I just want to get a picture of this right here. Governor's bedroom and hall.
And what was the governor's name?
And
Oh, they have several of them. South Philip McLean, Thomas Melvin, Brentford.
jeez. Look at this.
They're doing the breeze.
They must have really got a breeze because the water was closer. You know? Oh gosh.
Oh, it's not going to get a breeze.
The water was closer, so they must have really got a breeze.
From here, they had another falls.
You can see it.
So, no, it's different from this one. The one you saw, Victoria, that's the communication. 10. Oh, what is it? How about your hand? Straight up there, you see the small castle on the hill.
Oh, okay.
Victoria is the name, that's for Victoria. Also had his communication room this side. Sister, come. Straight up on the hill. You see it? Uh-huh.
Little council on here that will get signals. See that? And then come here. That was the congregation room where they talk and give signals. Oof. That's deep. They was watching everything.
Officers, one, absolutely. This whole area was for one person. If there were two, the wife had visited or had ordered to be brought to him, our sister, to rape. And there was
150, yes. Wow.
Let's go to the last one. From there, you see the churches. We have the county, the Methodist storm now. Anglican, Catholic, Methodist, and then up on the hill, you have the Fort William. So a picture here will give you all the churches. Don't go forward again.
Go back over there.
No. He's standing there. He's standing there.
What was it?
I wanted to get to the market.
Just
Okay.
look ahead. Okay.
This is it. Right. Yeah, coming there. Don't wait.
Watch those steps.
Thank you.
Read the secret. We are wrapping up the program.
You said have a seat?
Yeah, have a seat. Remember, all four castles of Ghana were designated World Heritage Sites according to UNESCO in 1979. So they are open to public on commercial basis. Your Excellencies all too soon bringing it all to an end. This was the venue where the buying and selling of the slave Africans officially held in later years. They had a long table like a similar fashion. We had a ground down on the mirror house. And then from the storage rooms. Company A, B, C, D.
For the dungeon, the storage room.
The dungeon. Okay. And then, having arrived from Tamale, Yindi, Sisela, Kumasi, or Cinemas, where I had my last shower, I will be paraded here together with other 4 people. So your doctor or head doctor will come and examine my strength and make a determination whether to buy or not to buy. So your doctor sitting behind you, your doctor. So there was always confusion, cacophony of noise, misunderstanding over here. Who buys who at what price? For instance, Kofi expressed interest in buying my strong captain. He expressed interest, but he's not giving me a better price. He said 300 cedi. I said, no, I disagree. Do you know how tired I was from Kumasi to Cape Coast, 215 kilometers? No. Say something, I had a letter to say, no. And Kwame says, 500. I will avoid you go to Kwame. Kofi is not happy. Verbally, he will attack you, but you don't allow him buy. Just as you are ready to give him 500. Dr. Brian says 700. Who wins?
The highest bidder.
The highest bidder. This time around, the two will come together and fight together. So there was always confusion, a cacophony of noise, misunderstanding over who buys who and at what price. And therefore, in their own wisdom, the actions and inactions created themselves by hearing. They named the area Palaba to justify events directly. So Palaba means trouble, noise, confusion, misunderstanding. From here that they moved down to the courtyard, oh, you pitches, she did, he did. And we're all to go to the same dungeon. How are you going to identify yours from theirs? Now, seminars, workshops, symposia are organized, so much attention is given to this area. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the fort and castles of Ghana speak volumes of words as far as transatlantic slave trade was concerned. Many innocent people suffered in that regard. There's a lot of tribal wars, settling conflicts, kidnapping by the Europeans at the initial stage, especially the Portuguese at the Elmina Township. But later they had to engage some of our leaders, who later some of them became greedy. Because Chief B was prospering, having associated himself with the Europeans, he had ammunition. The ammunition is there, you can't fight her. So Chief B will have to either join or get killed. That was why later we involve ourselves in it in that manner. Because Lada is with the European. In terms of accoutrement, materials for war, she's better than us. We can't fight her in that regard. She can wage war at any time, capture our people. So either we join or get killed. That was where we fought. And later some of our teams became greedy. Let's forgive and forgive ourselves. And pray to ourselves never again should that happen. Elimina is to go on the other years, they are 1482, 541 years old. Portuguese were there for 155 years. Dutch 235, English 85, Ghana 66, and still counting. You know, until the beginning of political independence, 6th of March 1987, the English were controlling all the fort and castles. Those that they built and they didn't because they had either purchased them or taken it over. The Danish built the Osu Castle and then Cape Coast Castle, English, 1661, 1664, 65 respectively. James Forrester fought in Accra and Domi Apollonia with Sebastian in the Western region, and we saw William in Victoria. So, dear wonderful people, delighted because we didn't allow anybody to join. We extended the 1 hour to almost 90 minutes. Yeah, it was a planting. Normally, when my brother tells me that you need 45 minutes, I have to work again. Today, you didn't tell me it is for how to take my time. No, you didn't say your guide. Thank you for coming. I wish you the very best of luck. Continue to enjoy the Ghanaian hospitality, second to none.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's a spy room. They were here to cry as our ancestors as they're going into church.
Yeah.
Seriously.
What's that?
So